The woman finally spoke to me. Now she knows where you live. I stared at the message on my phone. My hands were shaking. The photo was still open on my screen. My late grandmother stood beside my bed, and behind her was the woman, smiling, watching, waiting. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound inside my apartment made me jump: the refrigerator, the air conditioner, even the wind outside. For the first time, I was genuinely afraid. I kept checking my bedroom door. I kept checking the windows. I kept checking the photo. The woman never moved, but somehow, it felt like she was getting closer. My name is Olivia. After living in Canada for most of my life, I returned to the Philippines to visit my grandparents after 13 years. I thought it would be a simple family trip. Instead, I attended a funeral. I noticed a strange woman watching me. Then she started appearing in photos, and now she had somehow followed me home. Morning finally arrived. I hadn't slept at all. I was making coffee when my phone rang. The caller ID showed my grandfather's number. I answered immediately. "Grandpa?" No response. Only breathing. Slow, weak, uneven. "Grandpa?" A woman's voice answered. My blood froze. The voice sounded familiar, soft, cold, almost like a whisper. Then she said 4 words. "She knows you're back." The call ended. I stood frozen in my kitchen. I called my grandfather immediately. This time he answered. His voice sounded tired, like he hadn't slept in days. Before I could tell him about the call, he interrupted me. "When did she contact you?" The question made my stomach drop. He already knew. I told him everything. The messages, the photographs, the phone call. There was silence. Then he sighed. A long, heavy sigh. "Olivia, I hoped this would never happen to you. What is happening?" His answer terrified me. "We don't know." My grandfather explained that everything started decades ago. A woman appeared in an old family photograph. Nobody recognized her. Nobody knew her name. Yet she kept appearing. Different events, different years, different locations. Always the same face, always the same smile, as if time could not touch her. At first, everyone laughed about it. Then strange things began happening. People started seeing her in crowds, in reflections, in windows, at family gatherings, at funerals, always watching, never speaking. And every time someone noticed her, something bad happened afterward. I lowered my voice. "What happened?" My grandfather hesitated. Then he answered. "People disappeared." A chill ran through my entire body. "How many?" 3. I couldn't believe it. What happened to them? We never found out. That night I checked every photograph again. The funeral photo, the hallway photo, the family photos. Then I noticed something strange. The woman wasn't standing where I remembered. She had moved, only slightly, but enough for me to notice. My heart started racing. I opened another image. She was closer, then another. Closer again. Every photograph showed the same thing. The woman was moving, slowly, picture by picture, as if she was walking through the photographs, toward me. I deleted every image. Then I emptied my trash folder. Finally, I felt relieved. Maybe it was over. Maybe I had gotten rid of them. Then my phone vibrated. A new photo appeared. The same woman, now standing much closer than before. My heart nearly stopped. I had deleted everything. How did the photo come back? Then I noticed something even worse. The woman wasn't smiling anymore. For the first time, she looked angry, and she was staring directly at me. That night, I refused to sleep. Every light in my apartment stayed on. Midnight passed, then 1 o'clock. At exactly 1:14 a.m., my phone vibrated. A new message appeared. 3 simple words. Look outside. I slowly turned toward my window. My apartment was on the 7th floor. Slowly, I walked toward the window. The street below looked empty. No cars, no people, no movement. Then I saw her, standing across the road, looking directly at my apartment, looking directly at me. Even from 7 floors above, I recognized her. The woman from the funeral, the woman from the photographs, the woman from my nightmares. She stood completely still, not moving, not blinking, just watching. I stepped backward. Then I looked again. She was gone. I didn't wait until morning. The next day, I booked a flight to the Philippines. I needed answers. I needed to know who she was and why she had chosen me. 3 days later, I landed in Manila. My grandfather picked me up. The moment I saw him, I knew something was wrong. He looked exhausted. His face seemed older. His eyes looked tired, as if he hadn't slept for weeks. During the drive home, he barely spoke. The silence felt strange every time I mentioned the woman. He tightened his grip on the steering wheel, as if he was afraid someone might hear us. When we arrived home, my grandmother hugged me tightly, too tightly. She looked relieved to see me, but she also looked scared. That night, nobody mentioned the woman. Nobody mentioned the photographs. Nobody mentioned the phone calls. It was as if the entire family was avoiding the subject. The next afternoon, my cousins visited. At first, everything felt normal. We laughed, we talked, we shared stories. Then one of them suddenly looked at me, confused. His smile disappeared. "Sorry," he said. "Have we met before?" I laughed. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. The room became silent. "You don't remember me?" He shook his head. My stomach dropped. We had spent almost 2 weeks together during my last visit. But his eyes showed nothing. No recognition. No memory. Nothing. Then it happened again. Another cousin forgot my name. Then another. By evening, 4 relatives no longer remembered who I was. The fear on my grandfather's face told me everything. This wasn't normal. And it wasn't the first time. "It's happening again," he whispered. "What is?" He looked toward the window. The forgetting. A cold chill ran through my body. "What does that mean?" My grandfather didn't answer immediately. Instead, he opened an old cabinet. Inside was a dusty wooden box. The box was filled with photographs, hundreds of them, family gatherings, birthdays, weddings, funerals, decades of memories. My grandfather carefully removed one photograph and handed it to me. The date written on the back was 1974, a family reunion, children running, adults smiling, everything looked normal. Then I saw someone standing in the back row. My hands began shaking. The face looked familiar, too familiar. It was me, not someone who looked like me, not a distant relative. Me, the same face, the same eyes, the same smile. Standing among people photographed decades before I was born. My heart nearly stopped. "That's impossible." My voice barely worked. I looked at my grandfather. He looked like he wanted to cry. "I hoped you would never see that photo." I looked again. Standing beside me was the woman, the same woman from every photograph, the same woman from the funeral. Then something happened. The woman moved, right in front of us. Slowly, she turned her head, until she was looking directly at me. My grandfather stumbled backward. The room felt colder, much colder. Then her lips began to move. For the first time, I heard her voice. It wasn't loud. It was barely a whisper, but I heard every word clearly. "You're not the one." Suddenly, new words appeared on the back of the photograph, letter by letter, as if an invisible hand was writing them. "We finally found her." Nobody spoke. The room was completely silent. My grandfather stared at the photograph. My grandmother covered her mouth. I looked at the words again. "We finally found her." My heart was racing. What does that mean? Neither of them answered. For the first time, they looked more afraid than I was. That night, nobody slept. My grandfather locked every door. My grandmother closed every window. Even my cousins stayed inside. The atmosphere felt different, heavy, like something was waiting outside, watching the house, waiting for darkness. Around midnight, the electricity went out. The entire house became dark. A few seconds later, my grandmother lit several candles. Their small flames danced across the walls. Then we heard it. Footsteps, coming from upstairs, slow, heavy, deliberate. Everyone froze. Nobody was upstairs. We were all sitting together in the living room, yet the footsteps continued. One step, then another, moving across the second floor. My grandfather grabbed a flashlight. "I'll check." "No," my grandmother whispered, but he was already walking. I followed him. The staircase creaked beneath our feet. The footsteps stopped. The hallway was empty. Every room was empty. Then my flashlight landed on something. Wet footprints. Fresh footprints. Leading toward the attic. The same attic where we found the photograph. The attic door was slowly moving, back and forth, as if someone had just entered. My grandfather pushed the door open. The room was empty. At least, that's what I thought. Then I noticed the photographs. Every single one was lying on the floor. The photos were scattered everywhere, as if someone had thrown them. I picked one up. The woman was gone. I picked up another. Gone. Another. Gone. Every photograph was missing her, except one. The photo from 1974. My hands trembled as I lifted it. The woman was still there, but something had changed. She wasn't beside me anymore. She was standing behind someone else. A young girl, about 16 years old. I had never seen her before, yet somehow, she looked familiar. "Who is she?" My grandfather's face turned pale. He sat down immediately, as if all the strength had left his body. My grandmother started crying. Then my grandfather whispered a name nobody had spoken in decades. Elena. I stared at him. "Who's Elena?" My grandfather looked at the photo, then at me. His voice trembled. "She was your aunt." I frowned. "I don't have an aunt." My grandfather's eyes filled with tears. "You did, before she disappeared." And at that moment, every light in the house turned back on. The photograph in my hands changed again. The girl was gone, and in her place was a recent photo of me.